Welcome to Keepin' It Real, your go-to radio show for fresh insights and vibrant introductions. Get ready to dive into a world where we offer you the latest in real estate wisdom and the juiciest community tidbits. From expert advice courtesy of top realtors to opportunities to give back through local charities, we've got you covered. Plus, we'll shine a spotlight on the young athletes driving our local sports scene and uncover the buzzworthy happenings both in town and beyond. Stay tuned for a jam-packed hour of enlightenment and entertainment right here on Keepin' It Real.
All right, so before we get started with today's show, we want to take a moment to recognize some incredible people who do so much for our military community. Big shout out and tip of the hat to our wonderful friends at the U.S. Army Morale, Welfare, and Recreation Program, better known as MWR. These folks work tirelessly behind the scenes, creating programs, activities, and events that support our active duty soldiers, retirees, veterans, and their families right here at Fort Huachuca. We're so proud of them and all the work that they do. To all of our MWR partners, thank you for taking care of our local heroes. We're super excited to announce that the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty is now a proud Freedom sponsor, partnering with MWR to help support and host many of these outstanding community events. So you're going to be hearing a lot more about these opportunities in the months ahead. In fact, our very first event is happening tonight. Yep, it's the inaugural Wine, Bacon, and Bourbon Festival at Brown Parade Field on Fort Huachuca. It's going to be from 5 to 9 p.m. And let me tell you, this one sounds like a ton of fun. There will be live music, arts and crafts vendors, food trucks, a cigar lounge, bourbon tasting available for purchase, and one event I'm personally looking forward to. It's the bacon sampling competition. It's going to be awesome. We'll have a booth there this evening, and we're excited to spend some time visiting with the active duty soldiers, retirees, and military families. If you're looking for something to do tonight, come out and join us for Wine, Bacon, and Bourbon, 5 to 9 p.m. at Brown Parade Field on Fort Huachuca. It's going to be a lot of fun. And while we're talking about community events, we also want to remind everyone about an upcoming blood drive being hosted by our friends at the Tombstone American Legion. The blood drive will be held Tuesday, June 16th from 1 to 6 p.m. at the American Legion Hall located at 215 East Allen Street in Tombstone. Giving blood is truly a gift of life. Every 2 seconds, someone in the United States needs blood, so a single donation can help save multiple lives. If you're able, please consider rolling up your sleeve and helping someone in need. Your donation will make a real difference. So it's the blood drive, again, Tuesday, June 16th from 1 to 6 p.m. at the American Legion Hall at 215 East Allen Street in Tombstone. Now let's get to today's show. Our guests have just arrived here at the Sherry Ethell Team Long Realty Studios, and we are excited to have them with us. Joining us today are some local technology experts from CyberEye, and we're going to be talking about cybersecurity, online threats, and all the things you need to know to keep yourself, your family, and your business protected in today's digital world. Trust me, you don't want to miss this conversation, so stay tuned. You're listening to Keepin' It Real. We'll be right back after these brief messages.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
All right, good morning, good Saturday morning to you, and welcome to the Keepin' It Real radio show, brought to you by Sherry Ethell and the team right here at Long Realty Studios behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. I am joined today with Lisa Gustafson again.
Hello.
My sidekick
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming in to Keep It Real. And I'm also joined by a couple other gentlemen here in the studio today from a company called CyberEye. We're going to talk a lot about the cybersecurity industry. Dan Gavin and Tom Jewkes.
Good morning.
Welcome to the show.
It's an honor.
This is kind of, I guess, a business spotlight, but we've never had somebody from cybersecurity before. First, we want to get to know you. Tom, tell me a little bit about your past. What brought you here to Sierra Vista? How long you've been here?
We've been in Sierra Vista since 2008, and it was a job at Fort Huachuca that brought us to Sierra Vista.
Like so many.
Like everybody else in Sierra Vista.
Right. A lot of people are brought in by the fort, and we're appreciative of the fort and everything that it brings. Were you prior military?
I started out in the Navy Reserves and then quickly realized after 6 years that the Air Force was better. So then I switched over to the Air Force Reserves. So you're supposed to join the Navy, see the world. I joined the Navy and saw Mississippi. So then I switched to the Air Force and then I saw Mississippi again. So
That's awesome.
that's where I've been.
Well, that's unfortunate, but maybe it's fortunate. If you really like Mississippi, and I apologize to anybody out there who's from Mississippi, and maybe it's a wonderful state. I've only driven through it, but so Dan, tell me a little bit about yourself and where do you come from?
Originally from the East Coast,
Okay.
but with my accent, people can't tell if I'm from Boston or Georgia.
Or New York.
Yeah, but I'm from Maryland.
Yeah, I
originally.
was guessing New York, but I don't know. I'm not great with that. I'm from the West. So.
I lived in New York, and they mocked me mercilessly
Yeah.
while I was there.
Are you prior military as well?
I am. I spent almost 8 years in the Army,
Okay.
and I did see the world.
I guess you should have joined the army.
Joined the Army.
Yeah, right. Yeah, maybe that's the trick. I don't know. I got 3 boys, who've been Army, 1 Navy, and I've got 2 nephews who lived with us, and 1 went Navy, 1 Air Force, and so far the only guys who've seen the world is the Army. I don't know.
'Cause they moved
Not
you.
all great places, though. I will
Very
throw that
true.
in there. There was some world travel that they probably would have liked to have avoided. And then you both were contractors, right? At different times.
At different times.
Yeah.
That's actually
At
kind of how we
actually
met.
the same time.
Yeah.
No, we met through Lego Robotics.
Oh, that's how we met. Thank you for reminding me.
Lego Robotics.
Lego Robotics.
Okay.
And what they do is they have these, you build a Lego with the wheels and all that stuff.
Right.
And it's got a programming chip in there that it's a GUI based program, and the kids do the programming steps on what the robots do. And the robots do a course.
Yeah, they have to navigate through a little map
Okay.
and do certain tasks.
What age groups are those?
Middle school.
Middle
so
school.
it was 5th through 8th, I think.
Okay.
It's huge. This
was
segment
good.
brought to you by Lego.
Right. Talking about your business is CyberEye. Tell me, what is that and when did you start it?
CyberEye is what we refer to in the industry as zero trust security stack. The methodology, it's a way to implement cybersecurity. When most people think of computer security, they think of something like an antivirus.
Right.
And if you can go search Google Trends, and Google Trends will show you people are constantly asking, what's the best antivirus I can put on my computer? And that's the wrong question.
Really?
Yeah, because antivirus is referred to as an allow by default and deny by exception. Antivirus will look at the signature of a file, and if it is not known to be bad, then antivirus just steps out of the way and lets it execute. Zero trust is more of a deny by default and allow by exception. And the easiest way to think about this is to compare Walmart and Costco. Walmart is an allow by default, deny by exception department store model. Everybody's allowed in by default. And
Yeah.
if you get caught shoplifting,
I see.
then
I
you're
do
denied.
see where you're going, yeah.
Costco is the total opposite of that. You are denied by default until you get a membership card. And so in the computer security world, to implement a zero trust approach is to do something kind of like Costco. It's like the applications running on your computer can only run if they have a membership card. And that's the only way to stop ransomware, because ransomware won't have a membership card ever. And it'll try to execute and it just won't. And we've seen that dozens of times for our clients, where had they been relying on antivirus, that ransomware would have detonated.
Oh, wow. Who are your clients?
Our clients are wide ranging. When I first got into this, I would have thought that we would be strictly lawyers and medical industry, because they're required to by law, medical industry especially. But we've actually grown. The people that figured out that they really needed it are anywhere from bankers to mechanics.
Really?
Everybody, pretty much. now.
Everybody that has a business that has important information loaded in their database, or they realize sometimes after the fact that they need it. So,
After the fact, meaning after they got ransomware.
They've got something going on, yeah.
but the great part about it is their friends were safe, because they told all their friends this would have happened, and you need to see Tom and Dan.
Okay, right. For people who are listening, right? If you're driving down the road and you're just listening to these guys and like, oh yeah, I need to get some of that too, and that sounds great. This isn't like Norton antivirus kind of stuff. This isn't something for the average individual, right?
That's right, because it's not Norton is a set and forget. You just install it,
Right.
and it automatically downloads new databases several times a day, because there are thousands of variants of malware and ransomware that appear every day. But this is really hands-on. It requires us to actually review files. We review files every day for our clients when they get something new.
So there's not an automated portion of that, or is there an automated portion of that?
Yeah, define. That's my question. Define the files, right? That's a lot to look through, I would imagine, individually.
So it looks like this for our clients. Let's say they get a new printer.
Right.
Well, the printer drivers won't run because they don't have a membership card.
Right.
So for every application that you want to install, it's like you have to go to the membership desk. And the membership desk looks like a request button. So a little pop-up comes up by the clock and it has a request button. They hit request and that request comes to us. And then we literally review it. We put eyeballs on it and we check it to make sure. We want to know, first of all, is it known good? Is this file already out and people are using it and everybody knows it's good and clean? Then we just hit allow and it gets a membership card.
That particular printer that you're allowing on the network, so to speak. Okay.
And if it doesn't come up good, then we put it in what's called a sandbox or a virtual machine, and we set off or execute the file
To see what it does.
Oh, wow.
We've had businesses where an employee will download something, they'll hear some software and they'll be like, oh, I want to try that out. So they're going to try it out on their boss's business machine. And so they'll send us a request. And it comes up dirty. And so then we'll contact the boss and say, hey, did you know we just got a request from some computer? I don't even know who the users are. We just got a request from somebody. They wanted to run this file. It's considered potentially unwanted program or a pup. We recommend you don't do it. And they're like, I didn't authorize them to do that. So it prevents people from installing and playing on business computers during the day when they should be working.
It also prevents shadow IT from going around. And shadow IT is when you say, oh, I don't really like Microsoft Word. I think I'll put in this LibreOffice, or what's the other one that they always put in that's not good? Libra's actually good.
Is it the King software?
Yeah, the King software.
From China?
Yeah, which has a bunch of adware and malware in it. That's, it's free. Oh, yeah.
Right.
My PDF reader is no good. I want to use this one.
I know a lot of people think they're doing themselves a favor by, because of course it's advertised as, look at this is great, and it's easy, it's free, and, and then you end up going down the road and pretty soon you got pop-ups and all kinds of other crazy stuff going and eating up your system.
Well, you know what they say, if it's free, you're the product.
You're the product.
Oh, that's a good one. All right, let's take a quick break. We'll come right back talking to CyberEye guys here, Dan and Tom, Lisa, and we will be back after these short messages.
Discover excellence in real estate with the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty, your premier choice in Cochise County. Sherry's amazing team brings honesty, expertise, and a deep understanding of the local market. Whether you're a first-time buyer or a seasoned homeowner, they're committed to your peace of mind and handle every detail for you. Their approach? Personalized service. Above and beyond transactional real estate, building lifelong relationships, nationwide connections, local expertise. There's a reason this team is amongst the top realtors in Arizona and across the nation. You owe it to yourself to call or visit the Sherry Ethell Team, the top team at Long Realty, behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard in Sierra Vista. Call or text 717-599-2439 or Google us for more info. Real integrity, real results.
All right, welcome back. I'm Dion Ethell. I'm your host, and I'm joined by Lisa Gustafson, our wonderful CoolFM personality here who helps us out with all of our shows. Welcome again.
Thank you. Always fun being here.
And I've got the cyber guys here. So the CyberEye is the company. It's Tom Jewkes and Dan Gavin. And Tom, you're kind of the founder and CEO, right, of this?
I am.
And so you kind of started this. And then how soon after did you join this? Or was it kind of almost a joint kind of thing?
No,
you were
I
doing
came
something
in
else.
several years later. I mean, after all the hard part was done, that's when I came in.
Nice.
Tom did the hard stuff, right? He found the stack that you needed and what it would look like and what products would work the best, right? So, and he did his first product that we had was similar to everything else on the market, and then he found the Holy Grail.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But I saw on the website on your website, I saw that you're the chief cyber guy. So what does that mean?
It's an honorific title.
Yes, it is. And I made it up myself because I did the website.
That's awesome. Just give yourself a title. That's cool.
I needed a title.
That's cool.
Okay.
So, I mean,
he's going to be the boss man. I'll be the chief cyber guy.
Chief cyber guy, absolutely.
In all seriousness, I got two smart guys in the room here who've done a lot. They got 20, 25 years experience, each one of them in this kind of a field, and obviously still working in the field and doing this business. Why this business? I mean, what was the draw there? Why did you want to do that? Because you're doing other things, right? So I know, Tom, you are a professor, right?
I am.
Where are you a professor at?
At University of Arizona.
And you're teaching?
Cybersecurity.
Right. And what are you doing, Dan, right
Besides the cyber business, I work at Netcom in Greeley Hall on Post.
Greeley Hall, right, on Post. So you guys are doing this in addition to all that.
When do you
Why
find
this?
time?
Yeah.
And when do you find the time to do this is my question. How do you make that work, I guess?
We have wonderful wives. Very forgiving and very helpful, I think. That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, I second that emotion.
So you guys spend a lot of time in, obviously, off hours doing this work. How do you find work balance? Is there work balance?
We have
you're talking to a
wonderful-
realtor, so
Yeah.
we have zero work balance. So maybe you can teach me something.
Weekends are a lot more open.
Okay.
It's business to business, so most businesses are closed
Right.
on the weekends. So very few people installing. And if it is, you find that you check and see it's 2:00 in the morning and it's come from Russia. It's probably a good one to reject.
Right. If you're a local business, how do you know you need this? And you said everybody kind of. So, I mean, if somebody's listening right now and they're running a propane shop or they're running a tire shop or they're running a local restaurant, all of them need it? And why?
Here's the analogy. When you go to the dentist, right? And the hygienist asks you, when was the last time you flossed? You need to brush and floss, right? Think of the IT guy like the daily brushing. You also need to floss, right? You can try to floss with a toothbrush. It's not very effective. You need dental floss because it does a very specific, it performs a highly
Very
technical.
specific,
Yeah,
right.
very specific. Conversely, you can also brush your teeth with floss. It's really hard to do, but you could.
Not very fun either.
No. So just like brushing and flossing go together, both of them are important. You can avoid flossing, but you're going to pay. The consequences will come. So think of the IT person like brushing and the cybersecurity person like flossing. You can ignore cybersecurity. You can ignore that for a while. It's going to bite you.
So the other answer, I'll just tell you who doesn't need it.
Okay.
All right.
Smaller group.
Yes. It's the group that doesn't use email and they don't use a browser. So
Wow.
Yeah.
they're not connected.
So
Almost
everybody
nobody.
needs it. So the short answer is everybody needs it.
Yeah.
Well, because most of your attack vectors are coming from the browser and your emails.
Almost everybody, I see this all the time. They buy really expensive firewalls. Like they'll spend $1,000 on a firewall. And honestly, you can get all the coverage you need for a firewall from Best Buy for $100.
Really?
That's all the firewall you need. Because like Dan said, most of the attacks come right through your browser. And every firewall has that huge hole punched in it for a browser.
Okay. So it's kind of a weakness built into it.
There's only one exception, and it's the IT guy's favorite thing to open up. It's called Remote Desktop Protocol. So the president or the owner of the business can get in and log into the server from his house. So your IT professional will say, got it. I'm here for your availability. And he'll open up 3389 Remote Desktop Protocol, and the owner can now log in from his house, and everybody's happy. Except the fact that hackers can scan the entire internet in 24 hours looking for every 3389 port that is open.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah. If you open that RDP port on your firewall, everybody can see it.
And you're a big target. So, and if you didn't bother, changing the default password to your server, well, then it's really fast. They don't even have to try to do the password cracking on you.
I love tech guys because you guys get excited about stuff that most people have
Right?
no
Do you see
idea
them?
what you're talking
and
about.
I'm sitting here saying, what's RDP?
Some poor guy is driving on the road right now and he's like, what?
What?
What did they say?
What?
What?
Can you
in my
put it in
what?
right? Put it in the simple terms.
You know what? You can think of, so Dan mentioned a port number, and so there's 65,535 of them, and you can open up all of
Good
them.
to know.
And an open port, it's like, imagine the front door of your house.
Yeah.
You have a number on it.
Sure.
Right? That's your address.
That's your address. Right.
And so, but imagine an apartment building. On an apartment building, every apartment has a number on it, a unique number.
Right.
So think of your firewall, the one that protects you from the internet.
Yeah.
It's like an apartment building.
Yeah.
And so the way Dan said it was, imagine apartment number 3389. The IT guy is just going to unlock that door. He's just going to leave it unlocked so that it's always available.
Left the window open.
Yeah.
11B.
It's like an open window. Yeah. And so, yeah, if a burglar drives by, drives through the neighborhood looking for open windows and they're like, oh, there's an open window right there. That's 3389. It's just a wide open window. And everybody can see.
Every tech guy knows this, right? So, I mean, obviously, these guys who are trying to infiltrate systems probably kind of are looking for that window, or no?
Well, tech guys know how to open it, but they don't realize how vulnerable and visible it is from the internet side. It's as obvious as an open window.
Yeah, so basically, but it's a favorite for hackers because everybody wants convenience, and your IT professional is out there in order to provide availability. I'll make it happen for you. Here's an easy way. Let me pop open this thing, and then Microsoft can work. You can remote in. Everybody's happy.
Certainly, yeah.
Until that morning when ransomware shows up.
Yeah, something comes through.
So how does define that moment? When you say when the ransomware shows up, take us to that point in a business. And they come to work Monday morning at 8 a.m. or tell me, when does it happen? Does it only happen during the business hours? Or
Great question. I'm working on a ransomware case right now at the FBI, and it's a local business. They showed up on Monday morning, and there's a ransom note just sitting on the desktop. It's in Notepad. So Notepad is open, and it just says, whoever the ransomware gang is, we've encrypted all your files, we've copied them off, and here's the dark web address you need to go to start to chat with us so that we can negotiate a price. It's almost always the case. The ransomware waits until a Friday night and then it detonates so that it has all weekend to encrypt all the files. So it encrypts the files. It's like, imagine if you go home and somebody has changed all the locks on your house.
Right.
And then they put a sign on the front door that says, your locks were vulnerable, so we went ahead and changed them for you, and there's going to be a fee. For you to get back in. You just call us at this number, pay us our fee.
You can get new keys.
Yeah. They honestly consider themselves to be like pen testers, and they're doing you a favor by discovering your vulnerabilities and encrypting your files for you to protect you so that nobody else can get access to them either, right?
Like, for real?
Really, it's a business, yeah.
I mean, we watch too many movies, so we're all thinking, nefarious means and some, the Chinese hackers are here infiltrating you. And
well, they are nefarious. Yep. It's just a business. The mafia is a business.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's one of North Korea's favorite revenue streams because North Korea is sanctioned. They don't have a lot of really easy ways to get money, so ransomware is super easy to deploy, and it's so easy to get the victim to pay.
What do most businesses do at that moment?
It's kind of a 50-50. There's a website that I look at that tracks almost all the ransomware attacks. They just comb the dark web looking at the dump sites, looking for news. And then they'll post it on their website, so you could go see it. You can go to that dump site, and for example, the one I'm working on right now, they've got a news site. These are companies that we've already hacked and, protected. And if the negotiations fail, then this is where we'll be dumping all of their data. And then they have another side called the leak side. So they leak it, and then you can just go download it.
Really? So you mentioned dark web. A lot of people hear that. They don't really know what it is. What is that? Tell us a little bit about what is the dark web? Remember, really, because people hear about it all the time. They use the term sometimes, not even knowing what they're talking about.
Sounds scary.
Is it the same as like when you get a notification? Oh, you're not for businesses, but for individuals. Your information was found on the dark web. Same thing or different?
It's part of it, right? So the dark web is just a non-searchable web, right? There's no Google that you can, no search engine that works on the dark web. You sort of have to know where you're going.
How do you navigate?
Like hackers are like, here's your membership to the dark web, right?
Yep. Well, you need an onion router. is the term.
It's a Tor. It's called the Tor browser.
Yeah, the Onion Router, Tor. And nowadays you can get
Now,
there
nobody
through,
should be looking this up on their browser right now, right?
No, because
Yeah,
then
actually-
you just opened up that portal.
Or now we're going to get malware.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't do this. By
Don't
the
do
way,
this.
it's like that. It's like when you see stunt drivers in a
Don't try
commercial.
this at home.
Don't do this at
A
home.
professional driver.
These
But-
guys are professionals, right?
But it's not as always as scary. So, for instance, the Brave browser has added Tor to its options. You can, do you want to log in with the Tor browser? So they're asking you, because originally you have like 20% of the dark web is malicious, and then 80% is regular stuff you can see. You're just not being tracked looking at it.
Okay.
Meaning the Wall Street Journal, Fox News, stuff like that is on the dark web for people that want to be anonymous. But also next to them in the dark web cafe is the hackers, the child traffickers,
Creepers,
and the rest of the group there, right next to the guy having coffee, watching the Wall Street Journal, right? So.
Wow.
It's like that scene from Star Wars when Obi-Wan looks at Mos Eisley and he tells Luke, "You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy." That's the dark web.
Well, that's good.
So don't go to the dark web.
Don't go to the dark web. With that, we're going to take a quick break. We'll come right back with the CyberEye, Tom and Dan, and we're going to talk more about the industry and what their business is. We'll be right back, folks, with Keepin' It Real. I'm Dion Ethell, and this is the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios. Be right back.
We're the real wayfinders, the trailblazers, the go-getters. In a town where the desert wakes before dawn, we don't just talk, we make things happen. And when we speak, it's real, it's genuine, and it's worth hearing. Tune in every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. on Cool 104.1 FM. Join the Sherry Ethell Team for Keepin' It Real, where top realtors, local heroes, and the heartbeat of our community come together. Raw, authentic conversations, expert market insights, and the best local events you can't afford to miss. Keepin' It Real, celebrating our community. Bold, genuine, one of a kind.
Welcome back to the Keepin' It Real radio show. I'm Dion Ethell, and this is the Sherry Ethell Team, Long Realty Studios, right here at Fry Boulevard behind Denny's. And I am here joined with the lovely Lisa Gustafson.
Thank
from
you so much.
FM, and a couple of smart gentlemen here from CyberEye, Tom Jewkes and Dan Gavin. And we've been talking about cybersecurity, talking about a lot of stuff. We probably lost you guys, some of you, in terms of the depth of some of this, but it's a really deep subject. And before with the break, we were talking about the dark web and what that scary thing is. And you hear about it on the movies. People refer to it, but people don't really know what it is, how to use it, and
ransomware and businesses
ransomware.
And people that show up and boom, you get a pop-up.
Well,
And
we don't think about those things until,
no,
like
I just
you said,
click the
we end
X
up
if
in it.
anything ever happens. Like, I mean, as a consumer, but I mean, for businesses, whole different ballpark. You are locked in, right? Once you get that note, is that how it works?
Mm-hmm. Once you see the note, you're done.
You're done. I find myself a little bit spooked to open anything. Every time I hover over something, I'm like, gosh, is this the one that gets me in trouble? And so I tend to close a lot of stuff. I find I'm not reading my emails very much. Do you find that too? Sometimes people get spooked, especially after they have an incident. They must be a little bit petrified, right?
I gotta say, I almost read no emails at all ever.
Why is that?
Dan handles the business side, so contracting and everything goes through Dan. So he has to read his emails. I just get so tired of spam, and you know what?
It's crazy. There's so much.
It's cognitively oppressive.
Yeah.
To constantly be looking, going, is that legit? So I just
It's
have,
exhausting.
And that's from a cyber guy, kind of. That's somebody in
Good.
the
I thought it
field.
was just me.
Because I feel like that. I feel like, and my dad, of course, my parents are in their 80s, and they're like prime targets
They
for
open
all kinds of, because they
everything,
open
yeah.
everything. They click on everything. My wife's a clicker. She likes to click. If it's not working, click it again, and then click it 3 more times.
I do the exact same thing. I'm laughing,
I'm like,
but
it goes against everything you've learned, but she just,
I do the same thing. I have 0 patience.
Yeah, she just
so I
have no
figure if I
patience.
click
That's
it 17 times, it'll work.
Yeah, and I know some of you out there who are listening are
Or
the
like,
same way.
or
You're like,
they're
oh,
like,
that's me.
totally
That's
me.
me. I'm a clicker. But that's a bad thing, right? To be that person.
I want to tell you 2 things about that.
Sure.
Because what you just highlighted with email, there's 2 categories of things that you really need to be worried about.
Okay.
The first category is something executing. So when people talk about software vulnerabilities, that's a big word. What does that mean? It means you can think of a vulnerability as just leaving the back door of your house open and somebody getting inside and making themselves a sandwich with your sandwich fixings, right? A vulnerability leads to malicious code execution, and that's really it. Code has to execute. And that's why the Costco model, the security model, is so effective, because if it doesn't have a membership card, it can't execute. If it doesn't execute,
right,
then nothing. It's a big nothing burger. So that's the first thing. The second category is credential compromise. And that's where you get an email and it has a link. And I got one just a week ago. I sent an email to a prospective client. Their email got compromised. I got a reply back from the hacker with a link to their SharePoint drive. And this is what was really insidious about it. I looked at the link. It was a SharePoint drive. That's just a Microsoft, that's part of the Microsoft cloud. And
Right.
It's legitimate. So I clicked the link and it went literally to their SharePoint drive, their actual SharePoint. It wasn't malicious SharePoint. It was theirs. But the attacker had compromised their credentials, logged into their SharePoint, put a malicious document in their SharePoint, and then sent me the link from their legitimate account. Everything looked kosher until that last moment. I hovered on that document and I saw where it was pointing, and it was pointing to somewhere else. And so I grabbed the address for that somewhere else and I dropped it into my super secret tool that analyzes these things, and it was malicious.
But you already had clicked on the link.
I clicked on the link to the SharePoint site because everything said this is legitimate. Everything pointed to legitimacy until that last step. And the last step, what would have happened, because I opened it up in the sandbox, and that last step asked for credentials. People do this all the time. You click the link and it says, in order to view this document, you have to log in with your Microsoft account. People do this all the time. They log in with their Microsoft account to see stuff. So that's how they lose access.
I was going to ask about that too, because, you know, a lot of us use our phones these days. We're tied in. I know, like, I get on my Google Drive on my phone. It's a little bit harder to read. It's smaller, everything, you know, and you can make mistakes easy. You see emails that pop up. Honestly, it scares the crap out of me because it'll ask for me to log in again. I'm like, why am I logging in again? And it scares the crap out of me, you know, because I think, well, is that malicious or is it not malicious? There's so many things I don't know anything about, you know, and I feel like I'm going to make a mistake. And especially since I can even get into my drive from, you know, anywhere now and from my phone, and it makes access great, fantastic, but also scary because I've got so much access. I'm playing with everything. Like, I keep backups of backups because somebody will, you know, get into something, or like the other day, one of our teammates accidentally deleted a whole, like, large section of our files.
Of your work files.
Yeah, work files. And because the drive is so accessible. And I just worry about people getting into that.
And what happens, once you guys get that ransom note, what do these people do? I guess that's my question, because these businesses are the ones that you, right? I mean, how do you help them? Can you help them? And how do you, I mean, obviously that's what you do, but how do you help them at that
Dan,
point?
he's sitting there moving in his seat because he wants to say a bunch of stuff. He's like, you guys.
All right, so the first thing you do is you don't turn off the computer. So you unplug the computer from your network. So if you're on a Wi-Fi, turn off your Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
If you have actual cable, then unplug.
Yeah.
Either way. That way it stops it. But the big thing is a lot of information that's usable in the digital forensic environment that Tom is an expert in is still there, right? If you wait till a week later, it might not be there because it's spinning and refreshing and doing other things. So if it happens during the day and you're actually there, unplug from the network so the rest of your network cohorts or your coworkers do not get the same thing you got, but also you might have the password, the encrypted password, hiding in memory because they have to have the password in order to encrypt it. So Tom can go in there and find it. That's some of the things he can do. So don't panic. Do the right thing. Get off the network right away.
Yeah.
Then call somebody and don't wait a week or two because it might be gone.
Quick question. I know you want to say something here, Tom, but convenience. You mentioned this, Tom, actually earlier, and we do a lot of things out of convenience. So we have our computer either plugged in or we're working off of Wi-Fi. Could be at our place of business, could be somewhere else. We've also got our personal extra drive with our backup plugged into our computer at the same time. Leave it in there all the time. Can they get access to that too?
That's the first place it goes.
Yeah.
Ransomware always looks for
Other
attached drives first.
Yeah.
Because those are your backups. They want to encrypt those first.
Yeah. I'd heard that before. So, yeah, I stopped kind of doing that. But I know I was doing it for a while too. And I'm sure a lot of people are, or they're sitting at home and they've got their little laptop. They just bring it, plop it in the docking port or whatever. And here's all their stuff plugged into it. And they just compromising everything. So potentially
it all get compromised, but the play there is to have multiple backup drives
and rotate them
like at least once a week.
One of the best solutions, have multiple drives and you just rotate them. You could rotate them every day, honestly. If you absolutely can't lose data, then just have lots of them and rotate them. Another option,
you could go to the cloud.
You could go to the cloud. But all cloud storage is not created equal. Google, I'm just going to throw out names, right?
Sure.
And Google, Microsoft, Dropbox, everybody loves those. They're encrypted in transit. So when you're sending your data to them, it's encrypted. The cloud is just a computer that somebody else owns.
Right. And so they got a server somewhere, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. And so you're trusting them to protect your data. And they're doing a great job backing it up, right?
Right.
And so if you're on OneDrive and you get encrypted, well, it's called a slow burn. So the ransomware will slowly encrypt slow enough that your OneDrive synchronizes with the cloud and it synchronizes the encrypted files.
That sounds terrible.
Hopefully enough that because there's a retention policy, OneDrive will retain for like a week or 2 weeks. There's only one cloud storage provider that I recommend. I don't make any money off of it, but I use it all the time. It's called Proton Drive.
Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah, Proton is encrypted in transit, and on their servers, it's called a zero-knowledge encryption, which means the key to encrypt is derived from your password. So Proton can't get access to your stuff. Even though it's on their servers. Now, the downside is what happens if you forget your password or you lose your password, right? Or you reuse your password somewhere and now somebody else gets your password, they log into your Proton, right?
Yeah.
And so if anybody's interested in hearing how this works, if you want more detail, please contact me. I'm more than happy to just sit on the phone. I can evangelize
Look out, you're going to get a bunch of phone calls.
But it sounds like somebody needs a consultation so we can talk about these things.
I got a friend of mine who he doesn't trust browsers and whatnot, but he swears by DuckDuckGo, and it's probably not any safer, is it?
No, Brave, and
it's a
then
false
there's some
sense of security.
plugins. Yeah. Brave is better than DuckDuckGo, but you need to add plugins. What's some of your favorite plugins, Tom?
Well,
what is a plugin first?
Okay.
What is that?
A plugin is just it's like an extension. It's an extension, a browser extension. If you go to the Chrome web store, you can download extensions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, which extensions also contain malware sometimes. So even though I see Chrome extensions doing nefarious things.
I don't do that very often,
like,
but once in a while I do, and I'm like, okay.
What do you do at this point?
I love it because, like I said, there's two categories of evil you have to look for. There's code executing, and then there's credential compromise, right? And code has to execute. And so if it's a browser extension, browser extensions still have to execute. And the security stack we put together prevents these extensions from executing. I use password managers like Bitwarden and Proton Pass. Those are about the only extensions I put on.
And you block Origin.
Well, not with the Brave browser. With the Brave browser, you don't have to use any ad blockers because it comes baked into the browser.
Okay.
I absolutely love the Brave browser. And if you watch YouTube in the Brave browser, even on your phone, you don't have to see any ads. She's going, wait a minute.
Do you see
but
me? Look at
ads.
me. I'm
She's
like
what? Don't tell
I'm
people.
I'm stepping out. I don't know what's happening here, but I am completely out of this conversation.
I'm so sorry.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, but after we come back, I want to ask you about, because I love the conversation we're having, talking about real people use all the time, and we think we're secure, and we're not really secure, and lots of questions that are brewing through my head right now, and talk a little bit more about your business specifically. But we'll do that after these short messages, folks. We're the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios, and this is Keepin' It Real. We'll be right back.
In a town with heart and history, the Sherry Ethell Team is the key. Serving service that we agree for military law and retirees. Stress-free process you will see. Personal carries our guarantee. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team, we never halt. Real experts here to guide your way, making dreams come true every single day. Trusted team that knows just what to do. The Sherry Ethell Team, working for you. Real integrity, real results. The Sherry Ethell Team is your one and only call.
All right, welcome back to Keepin' It Real. This is Dion Ethell, and this is the Sherry Ethell Team at Long Realty Studios with Lisa Gustafson, and we're talking with CyberEye. That's Tom Jewkes and Dan Gavin, and we're kind of talking about a variety of different cyber issues and some of the things that really hit almost all of us. And we were talking during the break a little bit about some of this stuff because it's a little overwhelming for most people. You know, I bet everybody listening at some point has either gotten that email, that text message, that something, click on this link, you know, telling you about we were just talking about, you know, you get a message saying that you didn't pay this traffic fine, you didn't go to jury duty, you didn't do something. And then there's those pop-ups, you know, you click on something and all of a sudden now you can't get rid of this pop-up. It just keeps doing it. And then you're like worried because you're like thinking, oh my God, is every time this happening somebody in my system? I don't know. What do you guys think about all that?
Okay, most people have Windows computers, so let's just talk about that.
Okay.
Okay, the best antivirus, because you want to know, because everybody wants to know, the best antivirus for your Windows computer is the one that comes for free. It's called Windows Defender.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
No way, really?
There's a group called Gartner. Gartner creates this thing called the Magic Quadrant. And in the Magic Quadrant, Windows Defender comes out visionary, and I can't remember what the other axis is, but the upper right-hand corner is where you want to be. That's where Defender is. Okay. It's better than almost everything else. And it's free. But when you buy a new computer from Best Buy, it comes with a free version of McAfee.
Right.
And then
something.
And you get it for like 90 days. And then what happens? McAfee constantly badgers you. Oh, no, your computer needs to have antivirus. Go and install that. Uninstall it, configure Defender, and it'll be fine, honestly. So Defender's the way to go.
Well, so many people, too, have bought, like, I'm going to just say it. So I bought a PC-Matic, you know, had the lifetime thing. And so I had a bunch of computers set up for that. And
save yourself money. Cancel all those subscriptions. Just use Defender.
I don't even know how to get away from it, though, now. I mean, because you got, like, this thing now kind of running the show. And then you're like, if I want to go to something else, how do I even do that? I'm a little bit lost. I need a tech guy.
Yeah.
Which is
call
crazy.
for a consultation. And then I got to tell you about the second thing. Okay, the second thing that is enabled by default on every Windows computer is notifications.
Yeah.
So what I do on every Windows computer that I work on, I go to the settings and I type in and I just do a search on notifications, and it'll come up with notifications, and you slide the toggle to off, and that turns off notifications. And then whatever browser you use, you have to go into the browser settings and search for notifications and turn all those off. Because this is what happens. You visit a website and an ad that's on the website asks you, it prompts that, do you want to allow this website to give notifications? And almost everybody hits yes.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden, down by the clock, you get a little pop-up that looks like Microsoft or looks like McAfee. And it's,
I'm out. I'm out of here. I'm just going.
Like,
I'm going.
Dang it! This is talking about me.
This is every ounce of my embarrassment, humiliation, guilty, guilty, guilty. Boom.
But you know what? That's not malware. That's just a notification. But it's got a phone number or a link to a website.
Yeah.
So turn off your notifications, and that
Oh
will eliminate a lot
of that stuff. Okay.
The other thing was the texting.
Yeah.
So the texting, my favorite, because I get it like at least once a week.
Right.
You know, and it's always, you know, you got to pay your toll that you went through, or your traffic ticket, or you're going to go to jail if you don't pay this traffic ticket.
100%.
Well, newsflash, the government requires you to have a letter sent to you, and they do not text you anything.
But I think
so
that
you know.
I think there's that it's like my dad. He's you know, a little bit older guy, and he's kind of gotten sucked into this a couple of times because, and a lot of us do, and we're busy people, so convenience again. You know, you're on the phone all the time, and then something pops up. Oh my gosh. My kid, like you were talking about, Lisa, my kid must have done it, blah, blah, blah. And so you click yes, and then you pay it, and then you find out.
Right.
Oh,
and then I was like, wait a
just...
minute, there's no way. Then I look back and I'm like, that's like $700-800. Clearly something went wrong, right? It's just so, like you said earlier, what do you do? What don't you do? What do you click? What don't you click? And for somebody like me that knows nothing about tech, I don't want to have to worry about it, right? And so for businesses, oh my gosh, for people it's hard, but for businesses it's also hard.
Yeah.
And I just don't
That's where
know
you need these
how
guys.
people like you guys do this. I would go crazy every day trying to figure this out.
Well, and the more we talk about it, the more we, I guess, realize, you know, it's super prevalent. These attacks are super prevalent. You guys as tech industry experts, you know, you guys have the inside track on where some of this stuff's coming from and what kinds of things you normally see. But for the average user, we just don't, and it's kind of daunting. And so for the average business owner, which in this little town, there's a number of businesses. Some of them small, some of them, you know, medium size, but they all need protection. And sometimes you don't really know where to go. Can you go to you and just ask for a free consultation and kind of say, hey, here's what I've got. What do you do for that? Like, what kind of thing would you do? If I came to you with my business and when I said, hey, I've got this little business and everything, it's not really gigantic, but I'm worried about, am I compromised already? What can I do?
Right. So what we normally do, we'd start out and say, what are your crown jewels? What's so important that you won't be able to run the business?
Right.
And then we go through a risk assessment and ask you a bunch of questions of, for instance, you know, does everybody have admin privileges that they walk in, and you'll say, I don't know, what's that? So we'll just log into one of your boxes and run a command, and if it worked, then you're an admin, right? So we know.
And you shouldn't be.
And normally that's it. And then, you know, so about 60 other questions too.
Yeah. Takes about 30 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Most of us know better, having been working in the government or done something else in the industry, and yet I feel bad just talking about it. You know, now I'm thinking, yeah, it's kind of funny. Actually, last week I was in my Google Drive, and then I was fooling around with stuff, and I just went into settings. I'm like, oh my God, some past team members are still administrators.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm the worst. And
no, you're normal.
Well, I guess maybe that just, but it hurts because we're all in this thing together. Now, I got to ask you though, this stuff with AI technology and everything, is that going to get just tougher for people to recognize bad things coming?
Absolutely. And funny, last week I submitted the article, and it was about AI defense versus AI hacking.
This is the article that we write every week for the Herald Review.
For the Herald Review. And basically the answer was hackers have the advantage all the time, every time, right? So they don't. And so how do you handle it, right? Well, sometimes you got to go back to simplicity in order to defend yourself, right? So that's what our product does. It's zero trust. You deny everything by default unless you know it's good.
Okay, so I got to ask this question, and then maybe, and I don't want to sound disrespectful with that, but to me, just hearing that just sounds like, oh, that's going to be a pain, because then everything I do is got to get approved, and I'm trying to get work done, and is that hard?
Oh, I am so glad you asked that question.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
So we get, from any given business, we probably get a request every 2 weeks.
Okay.
And it takes us, well, Dan's really fast, so it takes him like 3 minutes.
And in case you just heard a little ding in during our show and everything, that was actually one of their phones going off because they were getting actual requests. So the kind of requests that the Tom's talking about. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the request comes right to our cell phones, and either Dan hits it or I hit it, and usually it only takes about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And then you'll get another little pop-up by your clock that says request is approved, and there's a run now button, and you hit run now, and then whatever you were trying to do just takes off.
So it's not nearly as big of an inconvenience as it sounds.
But the friction is a good thing.
Okay.
Because it stops people, once they know the routine or what needs to happen, then it'll stop your shadow IT, it'll stop the games and stuff like that. If they know, I'm putting something new on, right? And to reduce the friction, if you know you're going to get an update by your vendor or whatever, you just call us up or email us ahead of time. Hey, I'm having this update on Tuesday at 1 o'clock. Can you set me up? Okay.
And we just schedule it.
So you brought up something kind of good, Dan. And one of the things I was thinking about, you mentioned games, and a lot of people play games on their phones. They play games on their computer all day long. They got stuff, and people are downloading different various things, kind of like you were talking about these add-ons and everything else. But I'm thinking about everything else, because it'll ask you for an execute file, too, on some of these things. And so is there any trusted place you can go to for that kind of stuff, or is it just, man, you still need to go through you to make sure that that's okay?
It all comes down to risk.
Yeah.
And so risk is the probability of harm happening, and the impact if it does happen. How bad is it going to be? Okay. And so as a business owner, you're constantly evaluating risk.
Sure.
And the more employees you have, the higher the risk, because the higher the probability.
Yeah.
And so there are, like, for example, in the Apple ecosystem, on your iPhone, you have an app store.
Right.
And Android as well. If you have a MacBook or an iPad, you have an app store. Microsoft is trying to move that way. They have an app store too, but people aren't as used to that. And so if you're on a Windows computer, people have been trained for decades to just Google it.
Right. That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
And you'll end up getting Trojanized software all the time that way. And so that's why you really want to have something like CyberEye, because your employees are just going to go and they're going to download some PDF reader, and it's going to be sketchy, and it's going to be Trojanized, or it's going to have ads in it, because there's a lot of software that has that's bundled with something else. In effect, it's a Trojan.
Yeah.
It might not be a malicious Trojan, but it's unwanted anyway.
Yeah.
And so you want to have somebody who knows, who can scrutinize it, like the request, like you said, that came in a few minutes ago. We just looked at it, and the signature on it was really sketchy, and so we're like, you know what, this needs a review. So we can't just approve it right away.
Yeah, and these guys were racing each other with their phone to kind of go through it, which is kind of interesting too, that it is so fast, and it makes sense that you're doing that, and that this is a good thing, and it slows you down and makes you think about things and be more aware. Especially, I think most of us who are in business have some form of database or something that has clientele and other things and lots of information, and we wouldn't want that to get out, and wouldn't want it to even disappear, right? Even if it just disappeared on you, it would be terrible,
devastating.
So it could be super bad
for
your
a lot
business.
of companies. They'll just go out of business.
Yeah,
they'll just close their doors.
Yeah,
and that's happened here.
Mm-hmm.
In Sierra Vista.
No kidding, right here.
Yeah.
Wow, that's terrible. So I guess bottom line too, with your model, your business model, what's too small of a business, too big for you?
I wouldn't say that something is too small,
too big.
No, businesses are great because businesses work during business hours.
Okay,
and that's really for us. So we have a work-life balance, right?
Right.
Evenings are time for family, and so a business of one computer. If that's the computer you use during the day for business, that's okay. Dan might have a different opinion, though.
No, that's good. But as big as Sierra Vista has around here, right, or actually statewide.
Yeah. Okay.
Or we've gone international.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we can handle anywhere, almost any time zone as long as it's close.
Right. I guess that would matter too, right? If they're opening 3 hours ahead of you guys, that changes things for your
we've had customers in Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and that worked out just fine.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you guys coming on. I appreciate all the information you've given us and a lot to think about. As I'm just sitting here talking to you, you guys, there's just many more things that you could dive into this area. And just the personal liability, personal responsibilities that you have to your clients, your customers, and to all the people who work for you and with you. Just a lot to think about in this whole thing. But learned a little bit. I guess walking away from this, I feel a little better. Maybe that's a false sense of security.
I'm glad you feel better.
I feel a little better that it's normal. For all of you guys listening right out there, you know as well as I do that you've run into this before, and it's a little stifling, because you're not sure. You're not an expert like these guys are, and so it's great to see that we have somebody like you guys who have all this experience and local experience as well to bring it kind of to Sierra Vista here. So thank you for coming on the show, both of you. Really, really insightful stuff. And maybe I can even talk you guys in, one or both of you, to come in.
Maybe you
sometime
need a risk assessment.
So we started doing an AI show, talking once a month, just because AI is growing and there's so much stuff about it. We're just having a dinner table conversation, a couple of us, and we're going to be inviting guests in to have either who have some expertise or just people who have a concern or whatever about it, so we can kind of throw it out there and discuss, because a lot of things are going to change here in a very short amount of time, and we're going to see things that we just don't understand, and most of us barely understand AI and what it is, other than, hey, it makes some really great memes, and that's about it.
Well, I'm building a class for this fall that incorporates AI.
Oh, that would be excellent. So something to think about too. Maybe come back on the show and talk a little bit about that, and maybe come join us in our discussion. We'd love to have somebody who actually knew what they're talking about.
Is this a beginner's class?
Yeah, it really is. So one of the things, and I'll just close the show with this thought, that one of the things is there's so many average people out there. You hear the talking heads on the great big podcasts and all these other things too, and those are great. They bring on all these experts, and you don't really know, are they really an expert? I mean, I always joke about it. You see a federal law enforcement guy, he's not leading the agency, but he's talking like maybe he does. And so you really just don't know. And so we just wanted to have some tabletop, discussion about it. But it'd be nice to have a little bit of expertise flavored and sprinkled in there to have some stuff.
You need a geek everywhere.
You do.
Everybody needs a geek.
You do.
Where do I find? I need a geek. I need about 10 geeks. This is what I took away from today.
Some of us need it more than others. Well, folks, that's all we've got time for. This is Keeping It Real. Again, we are here with CyberEye, Tom Jewkes, founder and CEO, Dan Gavin, the chief cyber guy. These guys are amazing, and if you've got any questions, how would they find you?
Call Dan.
You can check our website out first, www.cybereyeaw.com. That's CYBEREYEAW.com.
Perfect.
And the company number
That brings us to the end of another Keepin' It Real radio show, and we just want to say a big thank you for letting us be a small part of your weekend. Whether you're a longtime listener or just caught us for the first time today, we're so glad you're here. Got something you'd love us to talk about? Maybe a local story, a cool event, maybe a guest idea. Maybe you're related to or know someone who has an interesting story, profession, or past. We would love to hear from you, so drop it in our Keepin' It Real suggestion box at Long Realty. We're located just behind Denny's on Fry Boulevard. Or if it's easier, you can email me directly at sherry@sherryethelteam.com or call me or text me at 717-599-2439. This is your show, and it's all about our community, our connections, and the what's up of Cochise County, and as always, keeping things real. And your voice will help shape what we do next. We'll see you next Saturday from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on 104.1 Cool FM, making radio cool again.
What's in a name? Everything. Long Realty has been a cornerstone of Southern Arizona's real estate market for nearly 100 years. Our name is our bond, and our agents are our strength. Trust in the name that stands for experience and expertise. Visit longrealty.com or call 520-459-4993 to connect with an agent today. Long Realty. Smart move.
Join us next Saturday for more engaging interviews with top realtors and industry leaders, keeping you informed about the latest trends in real estate. Stay connected with us as we bring you updates on the dynamic events shaping our vibrant community. From exciting local happenings to noteworthy charities and causes, we've got you covered. See you next week for another edition of Keepin' It Real.